Okay, so this is going to be a breakdown on a piece of malware called Anubis, or I've heard it called Banking Trojan. It's a credential stealer, um, credential stealer spyware, piece of malware for Android. All right, so here it is right here, Malware Bazaar. I'll put a link in the description for this or on my GitHub, one of the two. But yeah, let's get into it. So let's look at the manifest first. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Manifest. Let's look for the launcher. Okay, here's the launcher activity. So a couple interesting points here. It gets a handle on the width and the height, the XY coordinates. I think this is used for getting a point of reference for the screen and finding certain things on the screen. Like buttons or alert dialogues. This malware really depends upon getting accessibility services granted to it. Once it's granted, then it really has full control over the UI, what's on the UI, and I think this helps facilitate some of its malicious behavior. So upon first installing, this is some dead code. Okay, here's a try catch, and then it says if initialization contains good. So if it's been initialized, so at first it will not have been. I don't even think the shared preferences have been initialized yet. So it's going to throw an exception. You go in here. Here's this data repo, and it initializes the settings, and it writes all these things to the shared preferences. I've pulled it here off the device. This is the shared preferences. You can see certain things like time, credit card, some stat on banks, SMS, I'm not sure what that is, package name, activity inject. Here's the URL admin panel. That's the URL to download the second part of this malware. There's you have to download a second payload, another APK, and it will use Dex Loader to run some code from that second, the more malicious APK, which could, I guess it was too malicious to be to get through Google Play. But let's see, going back here, it's going to initialize all those settings, and then it's going to send a repeating broadcast. So let's look at this. Send repeating broadcast. It's going to get the alarm manager and set a repeating alarm to fire off this broadcast. And this broadcast receiver, it listens for things regarding SMS, the boot, or the package manager. Let's look at some of its. Let's look at its intent filter. So you see here, the permission is broadcast SMS, has that permission, pretty high priority. And then here are the broadcasts it receives. It filters out boot completed, quick boot, power on, SMS received, SMS delivered, package added, package removed, user present. So it can pay attention to some pretty important details, and it's gonna fire that alarm off constantly. Okay, going back here, you see it fires it off every 10,000 milliseconds, so pretty frequently. Then you see here there's a try catch. It says if this service is running, or if it's not running, the malicious service. Well, at first it's when you first install it, it's not going to be running, so it's going to start that malicious service, and then it finishes the activity. And this is the launch activity, so basically just backs out. Let's go into this malicious activity or malicious service. Okay, so here's the on-handle intent. It's an intent service. On-handle intent. You see this while true. So this is always going to run. It's just always going to loop through this unless it hits a break, which I don't see a break in here. So you see here it sleeps. This is just a sleep. Just lock it up and sleep it. Okay, so it sleeps it for some sleep time. Starts off with a 1,000, so 1 second. It keeps track of time working, how much time has passed while it's doing its malicious behavior. Okay, there's this try, and it checks to see if accessibility service has been granted, or this is a double negative if the key guard is in restricted input mode. Okay, this accessibility service is important. Really, this whole piece of malware depends upon that. But then you see here, it does a couple other things. It shows this toast, just repeats showing this toast over and over again, telling you to enable accessibility services. And it also overlays the deny when it goes to request that permission, or like, are you sure, deny or accept. It will overlay over the deny part of the button, so you can't click it. You can't click deny. And then here's this how to enable accessibility tutorial class. This is an activity. It's a web view activity, and I will show you the web view. I've parsed it out so you can see here. This is what it looks like. This will show up on your Android phone. It says a string. It's a string, and then it's got a bunch of HTML, and it does some string or some replacement to get the right values. But when you click this button, it will navigate you to the screen to enable it, enable the accessibility services. Let me go back. So that's really what this whole thing is, and it's got a JavaScript interface. Where's the JavaScript interface? Right here. And so once you click that button, it's going to start an activity sending you right here, the accessibility settings screen. And then it's listening with that broadcast receiver. It's also listening for changes. So let's see, going back to that malicious service. So here's this service. It's always listening, or it's always running. And then if you enable accessibility services, this will become true. And then it's going to do start service, lock the phone. This is a lock phone service. It just locks your screen. Let's see, get settings from preferences. Okay, yeah, lock device, is it equal to true? So yeah, if that service isn't running and lock device is true, then it starts that lock phone service. There's a kill switch check right here, checking to see if it should kill the application. We'll get into the My Accessibility service next, but once it's enabled, you see here, there's also this check. See if there's a file, see if there's an APK. This is the malicious, the second part of the malicious APK. That URL right here, this is where it's downloaded from. It's .com/gate.php. That does not exist anymore, so it's been taken down, but once it's downloaded, it will invoke the main method from that APK. So it invokes the launch activity from that APK. And then it will, there's also this start activity. there's some permissions it requests, permission requests, and it goes through. It's checking to see if it has auto click. It uses the accessibility service to auto click things, and yeah, so it's going to check here. And here's the permissions it goes through: send SMS, read phone state. So it's just going to go through all those and request those permissions. As they come up, it will automatically, because you've enabled accessibility services, it's going to automatically click OK to grant these permissions. So going back to the malicious service, let's see, kill application. Let's see, there's a download payload service. Where's that? Okay, here's the download payload service. So gets your phone number too, and then it keeps track of all types of things and shared preferences, banks, mails, cards. So if URL admin response is equal to null, so this, here we go. This is where it makes the request to get your the second part of the second APK, the second part of the attack. So if that's equal to null, it's going to go through all this. I can't remember what this did. I don't think I looked through here too much, but I think it's just logs. Okay, here's where it parses the response. If it's not null, it's going to parse it, and it looks like it has some logging in here. You need more resources. Some logging. It checks for responses, but then it'll invoke. You see here, invoke main from second APK. This is where, you see it gets the Dex class loader, grabs that APK, loads a method. The name of that method is main, and invokes it, and there you go. So that's where it's gonna invoke that that APK, which I was not able to get my hands on. Let's see what else. I'm trying to think what other interesting things. Let's look at the strings. Where's the strings? So it has all these strings in here, and you can see how they're hidden. I've renamed most of everything in here with doing static analysis. When I first got it, it was obfuscated, but I was able to give it more intuitive names. So you see here, all these strings are the return from this function 1. Here's this function 1. Takes in a string and then returns a new string, but then it runs that through the string masker class, does some things to the bytes, runs this function. So let's go into the string masker class. You can see here it's just like some substitution ciphers, just some encryption to hide what's really going on. But I've taken these functions here and then these functions as well, and I've built this. I've put them into here. They're written in Kotlin. Here's the strings. Here's the string masker. Just these functions. So I can run. I'll do a quick example. Let's take a string I haven't done yet. How about this one? You see how the name is still obfuscated? So actually that's too long. I don't want to do one that long. Actually, let's do it anyways. So I'm going to grab this whole string, and I'm going to put it in here, paste it there. I'm going to comment that out, because you can see here, this function, it's just this string is just calling the result. It's the result of this function. So I'm going to run it. I'm going to get my logs out. Okay, so you see here, here's the output. I'm gonna copy that. Here's the output. Looks like a bunch of packages. Vending, Telegram. Oh, looks like it watches Telegram, Uber, WhatsApp, Tencent, Viber, Snapchat. What else? Instagram, Twitter. So I go back to here. I'm gonna make a comment. That's the result of this string. And I'll rename this string packages of interest. So that's how this helper decryptor function works, or app works, and I'll put a link to this on the GitHub as well. Let's see, what else is there? I think let's just do a demo of the malware, and it kind of shows you how strong the accessibility service is. So here's the malicious APK. I'm going to install it on my emulator, and I want to watch for the logs from that. So I'm going to grab this package name. I copied it. I'm going to paste it right there. Okay, so what do we have so far? I think it's just saying it installed it. I'm going to clear these out. Okay, now I'm going to run this malware. Alright. See here, there's that URL or the web page it launched, and it's telling you. I translated this. This is like activate. Yeah, this is just saying activate. Now when I click this, and it says enable the app name. So you see here is accessibility, downloaded apps, and then if I enable accessibility, and I click allow. On other devices, this toast will cover up the deny button. I click allow, and you see it just finished, it kicked out, but it's still, and you can see here, it's running things in the background, or it keeps running things and then automatically clicking a button. It's not allowing me to click anything. It looks like it's looking for something there. That might be in the second APK. Let's see, request, ignore battery optimizations. So it got that request, and you see it did it again. It ran something. But let's see, where's that battery optimization? Okay, yeah, see, because it's always running, it's always like looking through your UI, because your UI is basically just trees, and there's a root, and it has a bunch of leaves or children on that tree, and those are, you know, your view group and your views and your nested views and etc. So it's going to be looking through those and finding ones that it finds interesting, and performing action upon it without your permission. Now let's see, where's that accessibility service? That's accelerometer. I don't know why it keeps track of your steps. Here we go, my accessibility service. Okay, so let's find, okay, on service connected. So here you go. Let's see, it writes to shared preferences. This is kind of interesting. Start installed team viewer true. So maybe there's some team viewer on the malicious APK, or maybe there's parts of team viewer. I'm not really sure. But yeah, TeamViewer. I feel like that app only exists to perform scams, like Indian call center scams. I don't know who else uses TeamViewer. I've never heard of it in a professional environment. But yep, there's TeamViewer. Build version. Let's see. And here's a check for stat accessibility. If it's not true, click back 4 times. So yeah, it's doing automatic clicks here. It has these functions to traverse nodes through your UI. Here's a click back 2 times. You'll see here, perform global action. That's click the back button, and it's less than 2, so 0 and 1. Click back 4 times. So what's interesting is it looks through, basically if it finds things like right here, the toolbar for Google Play Protect settings, it's going to click back 2 times, so you can't delete it. You can't get rid of it. If you go into Google Play Protect settings, same thing, clicks back 2 times. If you go into the Verify app settings, security settings, it's going to click back 2 times. So before you can use like Google Play's things to delete it, it'll kick you out. There's another one here, Android vending. Traverses through everything, clicks back 2 times. There's that display width and display height again. So it's using that math to figure out where things are. Same thing, click back 2 times if this is the toolbar for Google Play Protect. Google Play Protect settings. It's looking for Android button 1. That's usually like the cancel button, the first button on like an alert dialog. What else? Verify app settings, same thing. If there's an alert dialog, clicks back 2 times. So yeah, it's really, you can see this in action. Let's try to do it. So I'm gonna go into my phone, go into the settings, go into apps, show all the apps. I'm gonna go in here, and you see it just kicks me out. What happens if I long press? Nothing. Okay. So yeah, like it won't let you get rid of it. Does it do logs in here? What does it say? Not qualified for role home. It's trying to make itself home. Interesting. Okay, one more thing. Let me show you what happens when you try to uninstall it. So I grab it, drag and drop it to uninstall, and you see it pops up for a second, then just dismisses it. So it's quite good. And then even if I'll show you here. If I did ADB uninstall, and there's the package name, it won't let you. Delete failed because it's a device policy manager. So that's the real danger of granting accessibility services to any app. You have to really trust it. I just wouldn't do it at all unless you had to. But got to be aware of that. And let's see, what else was there? I pulled in. This is like its storage it makes, and this is where it would hide its second APK. It didn't do that. But you can see here, shared preferences. I showed the settings. Where'd it go? Yeah, these are the shared preferences settings. But yeah, what else? Let me show it's something else that's interesting. So output, this is the tag for the logs on my little helper app I made to decrypt it. Now if I run it again, you see here, it spit out the output one time upon running it. Okay, so onResume got called again, and it's running. How did I do this before? Let's see, I run the malware again. Let me close everything. Okay, there's it running one time. And there it is, it's running again and again. It'll just keep pinging it, so it's able to kind of like pull whatever you're doing. You see it's just running again. Same thing if I go to, let me just get rid of this. Show everything. I clear this out. Let me go to the messages. Actually, let's see, let me enable this. So yeah, you see it's doing some logging here for really anything I do. Logging this. It says it's an SMS app. Where's the permissions? No permissions granted. I think, yeah, the request of the permissions doesn't get called until the second part of the payload is in, but I wonder if I can uninstall it right here. Yeah, see, I can't uninstall it there either. It just will not let me uninstall it. So, hope you found this interesting, helpful, useful, but I will put links to the description in the description for like a saved version of all this with my deobfuscation on there if you want to have a look at it yourself, as well as a link to this little helper app to decrypt those strings in here. You just got to call the right function in the right order. Most of them are just this one, but some are nested inside of each other. Where's an example? Or sometimes they're like this, they're an array. Let me just go down the bottom. Let's see. Yeah, you can see here, it's base 64 decoded. Yeah. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.